Good morning to all. Fortuna is at a very exciting junction. We currently operate two mines in Mexico and Peru, and we are currently running the last mile of construction of what will be our third mine in Argentina. From our two mines in Peru and Mexico, we currently produce about 8 to 9 million ounces of silver every year, plus some 50,000 ounces of gold every year. More importantly, we do it with very healthy margins. In the current price environment, our EBITDA margin hovers around 40%, so we generate about $100 million a year of EBITDA, and approximately $40 million of that is free cash every year for us. We plan to bring our third mine in production in the first quarter of 2020. We're a few months away. Today, about 81% of construction in Argentina is concluded. We have a healthy cash position. We're fully funded to meet our construction needs. Our liquidity today, or liquidity available today, is roughly about $100 million. As of today, we have a debt to EBITDA, a modest level of debt, with a debt to EBITDA ratio of about 1.3 today. And this is the peak of the draw on the facility. To go into the detail of the asset, we're building, the mine we're developing. Lindero is located in northern Argentina, in the highlands of the province of Salta. It's a porphyry, it's a gold copper porphyry. We own it 100%. We have not given a royalty to anyone here, nor in the other assets. We kept it all for our shareholders. It will be an open pit heap leach operation with a long life. This mine will be producing gold for 13 to 15 years with the reserves and resources we have today. All-in sustaining cost over the life of mine is projected to be a low $800. Although the initial years are the strongest at this mine, the project is front-end loaded with high grades, readily accessible from surface, right from the start, as I'm going to show you next. This is where we are. The Lindero porphyry, where we are developing the mine, is here. And only 3 kilometers away, we have a second gold porphyry called Arizaro, which is exploration for the future for us. This is a plan view of the reserve model. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of detail in geological detail, but just to highlight here that mineralization, outcrops on surface, forms a donut shape. Here we see the outline of the life of mine pit and the outline of year one pit. As you can see here, we'll focus on the highest grade portions of the deposit, which outcrop on surface. We have two cross sections. I'm going to show you the cross sections now. Year one pit, life of mine pit. We're accessing high grade ore, start right from the start. In the red and purple colors, we see gold above a gram. Will be our average grade in our mine plan for year one is about 1.05 grams of gold per metric ton of ore. Another section showing how we are accessing the highest grades of the deposit right from the start. As you see, mineralization remains open and continue pushing the depth of the deposit. We're talking about 2035 now, and 15 years from now. Of course, depends on the price of gold. We will produce in the initial 12 months between 145 and 160,000 ounces of gold out of this mine. So going back to the original idea, of how much we produce today and what does this deposit, this mine, mean to the company. We produce 9 million ounces of silver today from our two mines in Peru and Mexico, plus some 50,000 ounces of gold. This will bring an additional, let's call it 150,000 ounces a year, starting in year one. So that makes 200,000 ounces of gold every year, plus 8 to 9 million ounces of silver. We will be transition from being primarily a silver producer. Today, 60% of revenue comes from silver. Tomorrow, we'll be mainly a gold producer. 60% of revenue will be gold. So we'll be a gold producer with an important silver credit. So if we project Lindero production for year one, and we make a gold equivalent, or gold equivalent production, it's going to be about 300,000 ounces of gold. No, that'll be a gold equivalent production. We expect, using $1,500 gold, that represents about $450 million in sales. We expect to retain our 40% EBITDA margin on a consolidated basis, which roughly yields about $180 million in EBITDA. We will not be paying taxes in Argentina in the initial years, so we expect a big jump off in free cash from our current 40 million to roughly 140 million once this mine is successfully brought into production. So it's an important development. We're at an important crossroads with the development of this project. We expect gold production to start in the first quarter of next year. We are working to start placing ore in the leach pad by year end. If holidays play a trick on us and we cannot retain vendor representatives, there might be some slippage into early January. But we're working to start placing ore on the leach pad before the end of the year. If it's not the end of the year, it's going to be early January at the latest. This is as of the end of August in the presentation, but I can advance that as of the end of October, we're 81% concluded with the construction. We have committed 99% of the direct capital costs of the project. We're forecasting $300 million for CapEx to completion. That represents a 20% increase from our original guidance of the original guidance we provided 2 years ago when we made and announced the construction decision. So all in all, we expect to be 20% over the original budget, 21% over the original budget, with a 4 or 5 month delay with respect to the timeline for construction we provided 2 years ago. Yeah? So 20% deviation, what's the level of precision on a feasibility study, plus minus 15%? We are in the high end of that range, but Fortuna has made the decision to build this project and be counter-cyclical with respect to its growth. We made the acquisition, a timely acquisition, 2 years ago in mid-2016. We paid $66 per reserve ounce with a feasibility study and with environmental permits in place. So it was a cheap acquisition. We are being counter-cyclical with respect to the development of the project. We have had all the access we need to the proper engineers, to the right teams. We haven't had delays with the delivery of equipment from the part of manufacturers. It's a good time to be building now. It's a time where investors are also risk-averse. Construction, let's not kid ourselves, is risky. And I think our valuation has suffered a bit from that. We're mining every day. Starting since in September, we initiated mining operations. We have initiated night shift 3 weeks ago, so operating the mine day shift, night shift, building a stockpile in preparation for the start of processing. This is a view of the leach pad and the ponds area, ready to receive ore by the end of the year, as I said. primary crushing, secondary crushing. Mechanical installation is basically concluded. We're working on electrical installations and electrical commissioning as we speak. Agglomeration area, cement silos, a panoramic view of the agglomeration area. ADR plant. The ADR plant needs to be operational by February, so we are on schedule with that. SART plant, or deposit, has a bit of copper. We need to deal with that copper. It's more than an annoyance than a credit. We expect about $5 million a year in revenue from copper. So this is a plant that will help us deal with the copper. A panoramic view of the area, of the process area. The Arizaro exploration project located 3 kilometers away from Lindero, where we're building the mine. Or current production, this is without considering Lindero, or silver equivalent production is 17, 18 million ounces of silver at an all-in sustaining cost of roughly $10 to $11 per ounce. So we're a low-cost producer with a significant silver equivalent production today, and as I said, that will turn more into a gold equivalent moving forward. Or quarterly production. And I'm running out of time, so this is our Cayoma mine in Peru, or San Jose mine in Mexico. As you can see, growing production that starts to plateau, and as production starts to plateau, we're bringing in Lindero to continue fueling low-cost growth for the company. Our portfolio pyramid, the 2 producing mines, our developing project, and our exploration pipeline. And with that, I don't know if there are any questions, or I'll end here.
Thank you. We don't have time for questions.
No? We can address that anyway.